Holy cow, there's good news from KTM!
And there was much rejoicing.
When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Yet brave Sir Robin turned about and gallantly he chickened out, bravely taking...
There, hopefully that satisfies the folks who are upset that my intros take too long. So now I'm gonna do the rest of the intro that I need to do because this is a YouTube channel and I gotta talk about some stuff. And the first thing I gotta talk about is, god damn, look at that VMAX, man! It is done! It is done! I have completed the VMAX build. That is a set of Gale Speed 17-inch rims, and my God, has it transformed this motorcycle. I cannot emphasize enough how much of an improvement it's been. I have an entire video coming out. I actually have 2 more build videos coming out on the VMAX, so stay tuned for those. I'd also be remiss to point out the fact that I'm going to be at a handful of events in the next few months. I haven't mentioned this in a hot minute, but I need to start prepping you guys up. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be at MotoAmerica. I'm going to be at MotoGP here in Austin. I'll be at the Flying Ice booth for part of it. I will be at Handbuilt for part of it, and then I may or may not be doing a thing with Livewire at Cowboy Harley Davidson. That's still up in the air. So if you're in the area, come say hi. Oh, there's also going to be a GP party, probably, that AF1 puts on. That one is like the best MotoGP party that happens. So if you're here for GP, you definitely are going to want to show up to that one. The next thing is you can actually come ride with me in Canada. I will be at an event in Canada with the Traction E-Rag crew. They are a bunch of really awesome, killer dirt bike riders, and they're putting on their XT80V training. If you're interested, Dork in the Road actually has videos covering it, and I'll link those down below. And you can come join and ride with me. I will be there the first week of June. So if you're interested, click the link down in the description below. All of the information will be there. There are very, very limited spots. I believe there's only like 10. So you're going to want to hop on that. I do highly recommend that event though, because it is that you will literally transform your dirt bike riding. The 5 days I spent with them last summer made me an infinitely more competent off-road rider. Poor VMAX does not like the cold though. It always starts up so slow when I wake it up, and I need to choke it. It's a big fan of BDSM in the morning. I also think I only have 1 clutch plate working, but when it's on the road, it feels so good. So KTM. If you have not been following the KTM news, I will be stunned because KTM has been in the news everywhere. I have, so far, I think 3, maybe 4 videos on the topic, and the funniest thing happened last week when I released my most recent one. KTM, the day of, literally 10 minutes after I released the video, they put out some press releases, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And like I said at the top, it's good news for KTM. It really is good news. Now, a very, very brief explanation of what's happening. KTM is $3 billion in debt. KTM has almost 300,000 motorcycles sitting around that they have not sold, which is roughly a year's worth of unsold motorcycles. KTM has let go of about 1,800 people. They were struggling to pay folks. They did a production halt. They were really wrapped around the axle. If you have not been following, just go check out the last video I did. The summary at the top of that video is a lot more detailed. Now, what did they announce the day I made my video? First things first, they announced that they have secured financing to cover at least 30% of their debt, which is a little under $1 billion, I think. Maybe a little bit over $1 billion. It's a lot of money. It's a staggering amount of money that they were able to get, and that comes from investors. Who those are, they did not say. They did not say where the money comes from, but they have it. Will all of that money go to pay the debt? I sure hope so, but I would reckon that a handful of it is going to stay on board, just because they have to pay people. So if they have some capital on board, they can pay folks, they can keep the lights on, and they can satisfy some of their creditors in the short term. The second thing that's actually kind of surprising, and a lot of people were calling for this in the comments in the last video, is Stefan Pierer is officially gone as CEO. He has stepped down and is letting it go on to the next guy whose name I don't remember, but it is this. Guy number 2, as I'm going to refer to him, he is the co-CEO, or well, now he is the CEO, but he was the co-CEO. So is this the solution that people want? I don't know. Because as co-CEO, I reckon he was involved in a lot of the decision making that brought about the situation that KTM is currently in. This feels a lot more like a symbolic thing, where KTM is letting go of Pierer, basically just to satisfy the people who are like, heads need to roll. That is me reading the tea leaves. I cannot guarantee that, but it really feels like what they needed to do is let them both go and bring in a new CEO. A bit like Harley does, where Harley got rid of Levitic and they brought in Zeitz, and Zeitz, despite what everybody says about Zeitz, myself included, Zeitz has really rounded the ship for Harley, and Harley is... They're making less bikes, they're selling less bikes, but they are making more money. And companies, as much as we hate it, exist to do one thing, and that is to make money. And so, in that sense, Zeitz is doing a good job. I don't have to like it, but he is doing a good job. Now, what Pierer's separation package looks like, I'm not sure. When a CEO gets the axe, they get a golden parachute, man. They have a payout of some kind. And I really hope that this 30% does not any of it end up in Pierer's pocket. I'm hoping that they just give him a bunch of stock options that he can exercise when the ship rights. I don't want to see any money going to him right now. The people at the bottom need the cash, not him. But then again, I'm a bit of an idealist, and that's not how the world works. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, that is unfortunately where the good news does come to an end. The good news for KTM stops there, because we also got initial data from them for the financial year, and I'll have a lot of information up here for you to look at. I'll have the exact numbers, but they are roughly 30% down on sales to dealerships, and I think bikes made. Again, I'll have the exact numbers, but it's big double-digit drops year over year, and that's not what you want to see, man. But again, I really would expect KTM to be doing the Harley-Davidson thing, where Harley-Davidson is making money on fewer motorcycles, pouring a little less R&D into it, like we talked about. The Pan America ST, that video probably in the cards or in the description, I don't know. Maybe it'll probably be at the end of the video. There will be a window at the end of the video you can click on. But if you want to check that out, essentially the Pan America ST is functionally on paper a Pan America with 17s. There are differences, but not significant ones, and it costs the same. So it's costing less to make, it's costing basically nothing to design, and it's the same price. So Harley-Davidson is making bigger margins, I would assume, on the Pan America ST than they are on the Pan America S. That's essentially the model that I expect KTM to follow. Oop. Running low on gas. Why is my light not coming on, though? Oh, it is on. It's just really dim. The reserve circuit on this bike doesn't work very well, though, so this actually gives me a good time to test out my fuel bottle setup. I have this Nelson Rig fuel bottle bag, which, if you're interested, Nelson Rig does have a discount code down below. These are the guys that I always use for travel gear, obviously my fuel bottle. I do not like this Primus bottle, though. Pouring out of this Primus bottle sucks. That's why I have this. We're going to test this out. Seems like it's working pretty good. And I only spilled a little bit to a lot of gas. Cool. I need something that actually has like a pouring tip. If you know a fuel bottle that's like a 1 liter fuel bottle that actually has like a good pour tip on it, do let me know, because this is actually really designed for like to be plugged into a camping grill of some kind. I definitely want a 1 liter because that's exactly what this Nelson Rig bag is for. But I hate that Primus bottle. In the near term, though, I still think we are going to see kind of company-wide sales. I would reckon that, you know, KTM is going to try to put together some promotional deals on financing to get a lot of bikes out the door. I'd reckon you'll see, if you don't see prices drop, what you may see is you'll see like 0% financing or some stuff like that. Some like crazy good financing deals just to move motorcycles, because KTM has to get rid of that backlog, and that's what they're doing right now. They're one of their biggest goals right now, as they shouted out in their finance report, is inventory reduction. They're working on inventory reduction. I think they claim 14%. That number will be on screen. That's good. That's like 60 or 30,000 motorcycles. So that's a start. They need to move a lot more, especially when you consider that they're bringing out new motorcycles as well. They're bringing out the 390 SMC-r and they're bringing out the 390 Enduro R. Are they going to eat into new bike sales? Definitely. So, or well, new bike, used or old stock new bikes rather. But people are going to be less likely to buy a 390 ADV when they can get the Enduro R version, or well, whatever they're calling it, the little baby ADV with the 21-inch front end. People are going to want that more. People are probably going to want the Supermoto more, because that's one of the things that KTM does not have, is a kind of affordable street legal Supermoto. And this is, honestly, the 390 SMC-r is a direct shot across the bow at the new DRZ. I think it's going to be too heavy, but that's semantics. It's a really fun motor. It produces great power. It's got 6 gears. It's got some nice technology. Whereas the Suzuki's still just like, they put lipstick on a pig, kinda. But that's where I'm going to tie this one off. I don't really need to keep talking about this, because the biggest thing we're going to have to wait for is the end of February, when their 90-day restructuring is what they're calling it. Their restructuring process is up in February. So unless there's some real big news, don't expect a whole video talking about KTM from me in the next month. You may see it in the news roundup where I talk about littler stories, but unless there's some earth-shaking news from KTM, we just need to wait. So I'm rooting for KTM, man. I really am. I don't want to see all of the people at the company lose their jobs. I don't want to see all the people downstream. Jake the Garden Snake made a great video talking about how if KTM goes bust, it may affect the people downstream that you don't think of, like people at the dealership level, not just in Europe, but here in the United States. So I'll link that one down below as well. So do give that one a watch, because it's very interesting, and Jake has a lot of first-hand experience because he used to work in a service department. So yeah, I'm gonna end this one here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.